wanted to tell my story first, right? And fast forward to GNX, I felt it was just a perfect time because not only the energy was lost, but it was the energy that was bubbling inside of me as well. I wanted to go back to the forefront of just the bite and just the grit of rap, just all raps and hard ass beats. And that's like the basics for me. I thought about, damn, what I used to like when I was a kid. Hard raps, good beats, that's smacking, right? And it was a great transition from Mr. Morale.
After all of the rumors and excitement, we are finally here when we consider what is going to happen in the entire hip-hop and music environment. What I'm referring to will turn out to be one of the most influential months in the history of an artist. Because Kendrick Lamar is preparing to solidify and climb the ranks of not only the greatest rappers, but also the greatest musical positions of all time, after winning the biggest beef in rap and releasing one of the best albums the genre has seen in years with GNX. Even for that particular subset of hip-hop that is currently making a final attempt to remove Kendrick Lamar's name in an effort to simply put an end to this, there is currently nothing they can do to prevent K-Out from dominating, regardless of the narratives they attempt to use to link Kendrick to in general. We've already seen that the stakes are as high as they can get for everything that's coming up, but now we're seeing that Kendrick Lamar is expected to do his first in-person interview just before the Super Bowl, and that rumors are coming from people who work with him and his label like Absol that this will be an even more bizarre experience than anything Kendrick has given us thus far. The result of all of this will not only be one of the greatest performances in music history during the Super Bowl, since the stakes are so high right now, but new music will also be released because Kendrick is a man of the moment. It appears that a full album's worth of new material is on the horizon. However, before we delve any farther into what Kendrick has in store, please remember to subscribe and give a like. Thus, this month's events involving Kendrick Lamar will be even more significant than his feud with Drake and the release of GNX, both of which were obviously huge. That's a lot to say. It will showcase him and hip-hop in a way that has never been seen before. And now, the stakes will only get higher every time we see Kendrick Lamar this month, regardless of how some individuals try to thwart this and spoil such a significant moment for hip-hop as a whole, which we shall discuss later. Kendrick has positioned himself to not only be more dominant than any other rapper in history, but in the end, he is set to have one of the most iconic and legendary chapters of a career that we have seen from an artist, period, in decades. This is true of everything from the Grammys to his pre-Super Bowl interview to the halftime show and whatever he has planned after that. Now, with all of these skillfully orchestrated and synchronized moments poised to produce something that no other rapper has ever been able to match, all of this will generate hype that will, in this more disposable music era, simply magnify an artist's presence and power in a way that we rarely witness today. And now that all of these events are planned, along with the idea of duality that permeates GNX and all of the hints Kendrick Lamar has left in his lyrics, it appears that we will be getting a second side of GNX, which is likely to consist of 12 tracks. In the end, Kendrick Lamar has a great chance to become one of the few rappers to ever sell 1 million copies in a single week, thanks to the Super Bowl hype, the physical copies of the record shipped, and perhaps a whole other side of this album drop. Who knows what that will exactly entail? We really need to look at where this is going to begin, which is with no other event than the Grammys, before we can look at where it will all go when everything falls into place. Before what will be one of the most significant passages in hip-hop history that we have ever seen, and why some people are so desperate to stop it. Furthermore, it appears that the industry's overall focus for this year's award event will be showcasing the stars who will lead their various areas and musical genres in the future. This year's Grammys have been set up to introduce a lot of names to the world, or generally just elevate other superstars to a level that we have never seen in terms of having their work received by casual audiences. Whether it's in the pop lane with all the new stars being nominated there, or even in hip-hop with someone like Doechii. Additionally, Kendrick Lamar has the opportunity to once again elevate hip-hop and everything he does to a level that most rappers have never been able to achieve. With all the nominations, not like Us has, the song is very likely to become the first rap song to win Song of the Year since Andre 3000's Hey Ya, which is also the only rap song to ever win this award. And now to put into context how momentous I believe these next Grammys will be, as well as to engage with the award event in a way that you and I as fans couldn't previously. Since Kendrick Lamar has won over the entire industry and is now leading rap forward as an art form and as a business, this will be the ideal opportunity for him to reintroduce what hip-hop looks like to a wider audience in 2025. He will be leaving the Grammys with multiple trophies, which will undoubtedly put his face in a position where it will not only increase the hype for the Super Bowl. We will undoubtedly learn a lot of fascinating information about Kendrick's whereabouts throughout this entire period from this interview he will be doing prior to the Super Bowl, which will be his first interview without an artist or member of his team, as we witnessed when he was talking to Caesar. Additionally, this will be his first direct speech since he dropped Like That about a year ago. This is going to be a really important time. And if Kendrick can generate this kind of excitement with just an interview, this is going to be something truly remarkable. In addition, we will undoubtedly attend the Super Bowl. And now, since there is so much involved in this particular performance and all that could occur, it does require its own specialized video. In order to stay here and see that, please remember to subscribe and leave a like. We can all see from the Super Bowl's annual viewership figures that this moment will give Kendrick a boost like none we have ever seen. Given what we now know about Kendrick and his personality, it's reasonable to speculate that he might be the best moment maker in the whole music business. In other words, Kendrick more than knows how to make a moment endure forever and lead into something even larger than we could have ever imagined, much like when he was a part of any significant event, whether it was a feature or another performance in the past. Furthermore, given Kendrick's current status in the industry and as an artist, the Super Bowl will be the event that takes everything to a new level and solidifies the arrival of a new chapter in rap music as a whole, not just in his career. In a manner, it is clear that Kendrick Lamar has a lot more in store for us in this chapter. From the GNX sample that was first hinted at but never published to all of the other minor clues that we have seen in his lyrics. And after this performance, I believe we'll find out. And at a time when Kendrick has never had more attention, I wouldn't even dare speculate as to what his musical future holds, because just when we think he's heading in one way, he takes us in a completely different one. Since GNX is an album that honored West Coast hip-hop at its foundation, I would assume that whatever he releases next would build on this and do something much more ambitious and conceptual, which will be appropriate for the situation he finds himself in. Furthermore, I believe that even though Kendrick doesn't do things for numbers, he is accepting the fact that he can sell over 1 million copies of this in a week in an era where records are selling fewer copies overall than ever before due to the nature of the industry in general. This will give him the opportunity to shut down everything, especially with all of the noise and hype that will be surrounding his name, since the record is still at the top of the charts, especially with hits like Luther TV Off and Squabble Up gaining more traction right now. There is likely more to the streaming boost from playing at the Super Bowl than there are from the physical copies, even though there must be at least 250,000 CDs, vinyls, and cassettes ready to ship out. It's difficult to predict where Kendrick Lamar is going with all of this, but it's obvious that the throne he sits on is about to become much more exclusive. He will be adding new music, which is likely to make an even bigger debut than the standard version of GNX did. It's also unclear if Kendrick will include Not Like Us on this new record, which would only make everything come together when we put all of these factors together, even if half of them turn out to be true. And from the Grammy Awards, which will kick things off, to every moment that follows, Kendrick Lamar will continue to demonstrate why he is not only the greatest person to steer rap ahead at the time, but also among the greatest leaders hip-hop has ever had in its more than half-century history. In all honesty, Kendrick won't simply demonstrate once more that he is the greatest rapper of this generation by doing all of this, since in my opinion, the debate is already over and his claim to be the best man is already undeniable. However, regardless of how you feel about hip-hop, you will have to put Kendrick in the highest GOAT discussions, especially when compared to the greatest legends that rap has ever seen in its more than 50-year existence. Because Kendrick is currently performing at the greatest level we have ever witnessed, according to every conceivable criterion that exists for defining not just a great rapper, but the best. After all of this, tell me what you believe Kendrick will release this month. What do you believe will happen next? And what do you think the Grammys will be like overall? I'm eager to hear your thoughts now. And if you watch the entire video, please remember to subscribe and like it. It really helps me out. If you want to see how Drake is losing it because he knows it's too late to stop Kendrick Lamar at this point, and because of all his bad decisions which have made him afraid to release his new album, his career will soon come to an end due to all of his failures. Watch the suggested video. This is happening just as Kendrick is getting ready for his greatest run ever.